What's coming ahead in crypto, friends? We don't know the answer. I can show you a couple of paths and theories. You have to understand though, if you are doing an excessive amount of leverage, pretty much any leverage trading or any of this other borrowing stuff, you have to be careful, because as the risk on sentiment approaches, people take on more risk and then you are unable to continue in the next part of the cycle if there is a shakeout. Now, earlier today, we saw Uncle Joey Biden read from a teleprompter, which kind of just shows us we're moving through the cycle. There's going to be a US election. These news events, even though they are at the forefront, planned assassination, you have the Kamala Harris deep state brainwashing, you have all of these things happening concurrently to the global liquidity index moving, and hopefully we're going to see Mr. Russell move up for us. So the most important part is the money printer. All paths lead to the money printer. I mean, look at this, friends. Joe Biden reading from a teleprompter and he doesn't move a beat.
Decency, respect, freedom, justice, and democracy. In this moment, we can see those we disagree with not as enemies, but as fellow Americans. Can we do that?
Oh my God. I mean, that's why I'm wearing the Snorlax hat, friends. In your honor, Uncle Sleepy Joe. Man, I think it's pretty much... You know what? We'll play some nice Pikachu music for him. I know, we need to light it up. We need to light it up. Come on, man. Come on. Just got to spark it up a bit. Like, gosh, man, I just can't believe it. Just reading straight from the teleprompter and he's literally about to cark it. So, man, where do we go from here? Well, we know that we're going to have that US election, but there's something more important than the US election, friends. What is that? It is the US Fed. The US Fed has a 100% chance, pretty much, odds to cut rates in September. Now, if you go back and check out historically, friends, this is like, I mean, even though we say this thousands of times, mainstream crypto influencers, for some reason, they don't get this part through their head. I don't know if they're doing it on purpose or they're just misleading people, but it's probably just because they have bull-tinted glasses 24/7. This is it. So every time so this is a yellow line, friends. This yellow line is the rates, okay? Whenever they do the first rate cut, all right, the average S&P 500 drop is 26%. But check this out, what happened in zombie virus times. Look at this. They cut rates, but the market kept going up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. 6. Then it went kaput. So that is one data point, okay? That's one data point. There are other times in history, similar thing, okay? But look at this, okay? This time when they cut rates, friends, they started cutting rates. You see this yellow line? They started cutting rates. Stock market starts dropping down 15%. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? But then the collapse happens. But actually, when it starts to go really, really, really bad, it's about a year later. All right, now, even though this is bad, this is stocks down. This is stocks down, but you don't know the big pain is coming until this part. So it's nice we've been able to see these two examples, right? So for the first example, all right, 6 months. The next example, 11 months. Now, even though the stock market went down, it wasn't like, oh no, everything's about to explode. Okay, what about in this? In this period in 2000, they cut rates and we just started going down with stocks. But check this out as well, friends. There was a period they cut rates and we started going up. What about this period, friends? Look at this. They cut rates. I think this was long-term management capital. This was a reactionary response rate cut. They cut rates. We went up. It was just when they started turning it down, we went absolutely bonkers down. So we can have a look at one more. Check this out. We started cutting rates. Stocks go down, but then they continue up. So it's 8 out of 9 times there's doom, but it's not so easy, is it? It's not so easy to just sell after the first rate cut. And you're probably wondering, why is this of concern? Well, friends, I like looking at different perspectives. And I was watching a BCB video, and I just want to show you this. I'm going to show you there's 2 charts here, right? The top chart is Bitcoin dominance today. Okay, that's the top chart. Bitcoin dominance today. You see this, it might come down. And the bottom chart is the point in history it's mimicking. Now, the orange line down here is actually the Bitcoin price. All right, now there's some interesting parts that happen here, right? You see this? This is the bottom of Bitcoin dominance. If you go down, look where it corresponds to, friends. It corresponds to this part down here. Okay, now these are just visual representations of the chart. They are just visual. You're looking at it. And I'm going to show you at the end, don't worry, my others BTC ratio, which looks at things differently. But you can see how these structures look the same. You go up, risk off, and then you come back down. Okay, that down part is obviously Bitcoin dominance going down, altcoins going nuts. However, okay, you can also actually throw one thing in here as well. When you bottom out here on this Bitcoin dominance, it is when Bitcoin right up here is in this little retracement zone. So Bitcoin does the big whack down and then it retraces up. It actually did it in 2021 as well. And you can see that on this chart here. See, it looks like a rounded top. It does, friends. I know a lot of these things are hindsight, but altcoins peaked right here. So I guess that was a smackdown, and then altcoins peaked right there. See, that's why, look how different this structure is compared to 2017. This is why everybody pretty much got wrecked in 2021. Because look at this. Altcoins peak. Look at this. Bitcoin has this big whack down and comes back up. Okay, so it is different up here, but this move was actually big, man. It was a 43% move. So up the top up here, let's actually go back and check Bitcoin. What did you do down here? It's about 27%, so the volatility is dropping. It just didn't feel dangerous. That was the problem, because it was rounding off, because he had been at that price for quite a while. Now, if we investigate BCB, right, the timing of this is interesting, because since these dates, the bottoms of the bottoms, to where we are now, it is 1,160 days on the spot. And he shows in this chart what happened after exactly 1,160 days. You have Bitcoin dominance going down. Now, the dangerous part is that this only lasts 60 days. Now, in 2021, we know that, right? Remember how I told you the alt seasons last 100 days? The first 50 is kind of like walking up, and the final 50 is the parabola. Yeah, that's that part here. That's just a bang. That's that part here. And what he's done is in his video, he's shown that something happens in exactly 60 days from now. That's the US Fed cutting rates. So he's just drawing it to everyone's attention that, well, the US Fed cutting rates for the first time will get the final non-believers into crypto, because these people will believe that they're going to print money now. They need to finally rush in. And now they have no more worries, because there's rate cuts, money print is coming, and everything's going to go up. And there's honestly no problem with that. Yeah, there is no problem with that. But I just went back and I showed you that stock market crashing part. There was one scenario, yeah, just went down straight away. There was another scenario, took 11 months for the dangerous crashing part to happen. Like, it was down, and you know, I can show you. I'll show you what the stock market looks like today, which it is right here. This is stonks, right? So it is possible, friend, that stonks do this and they come back up and they're like here. It is possible like that, right? So we don't know that stocks are going to go down, remember? So it's very possible in this period, crypto goes ballistic, or whenever it is. They might even go down here like that. You could do something like this to next year, and, you know, everyone thinks, oh, wow, it's actually going to go up. But then big doom happens like that. That could be the end of the cycle. That's possible. But in this period, that's enough for crypto to go up. And then look at this period. If we check out where September is here, September, yeah, it could take, what, a few months, 3, 4, 5. Remember, once was 11 months, friends. 11 months for the doom. That would be like July 2025 next year. We could go like this. Stock market goes sideways. And then June, July next year. Okay, now we're going for it. That could happen. You see? That can happen. So what I've done is I've basically we've gone through tick by tick just to see what are the different scenarios possible when they start cutting rates. So yes, we all know rate cuts are for doom. We know that. Okay, they're only cutting rates because they've already hit the tree. The car has already hit the tree. Now they're putting the brakes. It's too late. The economy has already turned. Okay, we know that. But we just went through, man. Doesn't mean stocks necessarily just start collapsing immediately. It just means in the future they collapse. Okay, now, if it turns out to be true where his scenario plays out, it's going to be devastating. It would be quite the catastrophe if there is only 60 days left in this cycle and altcoins start going nuts from today. It would be quite the catastrophe, right? Because it would be, I mean, it's the most hated cycle already. You know, now, after seeing this, you're probably a bit concerned. That's why we'll play some nice Pokemon music. If you want to be the best friends, you have to look at everything and just accept that there is an element of dice rolling. Just like you're a goalkeeper, you got to save some penalties. There is an element of randomness. You can't predict exactly what the other guy's going to do. You just have to, it's a game of odds. Now, BCB's days and 1,160 days, it brings us back to the GameStop GME era from I think Feb of 2021. Yes, it's cool. It is cool. But I want to rely on my chart here, others BTC ratio. And just so everyone knows, right, others BTC is pure altcoins outside top 10 versus Bitcoin. And I know it's woo-woo magic. It is all astrology for men. But right now it's down here. It's actually in the poop zone. And I like it. I like it down here because it should be down here. And just to remind you, in 2016, this went on for 290 days in the green, the Bitcoin halving year. And then it made the top after it flipped green in 100 days. In 2020, it did 290 days again. And then when it flipped green, it made the top in 100 days. So that is 2 out of 2 times. Okay, sweet. We have 2 data points. They repeated themselves. What about this one, right? Well, how do you even know it's following or not following? Once again, just guessing, but I made videos on this before. It has been following again. This is the Bitcoin halving, friends. We flipped green. The altcoin started flipping green. This is around actually August last year. And then if you go across, how long did it stay green for? 290 days-ish. Wild. Interesting, right? How come the altcoins, how come they run for exactly 290 days versus Bitcoin? You know, in each 2016, that was the Ethereum cycle. 2020 was DeFi and all these DeFi cycle. 2024, now this is Solana cycle for each Bitcoin halving year. I was talking about the theme of their Bitcoin halving year. And different themes, different coins. Ethereum was EVM. DeFi were applications on Ethereum, money markets and stuff. So they were just applications, no layer 1 chains. And then that was 2020. Then 2024, now it's Solana and meme coins. Different characteristics. Isn't it crazy? It's crazy, isn't it? It's different characteristics of the coins, different tokenomics, different constituents of people, different types of people, different demographics. It's wild. And in each cycle, as you progress from 2016, 2020, 2024, there is an exponentially larger number of coins to choose from. Wild. And you had different interest rates. We got 5% interest rates today. They had 0% back then. Isn't that crazy? You toggle all these things up. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. What does it tell you, friends? It tells you, after learning all that, it tells you the global liquidity index is truly the master source. It is the master source. Tomato sauce, friends. I'm not much of a fan of barbecue sauce. Depends on it. Depends, okay? Depends on if the bacon is crispy enough. Now, looking at it like that, it makes sense. Because money comes from the money printer. It gets dispersed out. And then people in crypto, we got a mindset of okay, risk off, risk on. Now, how we approach risk off and risk on changes every cycle. There is a constant, though. There's only one constant. The constant is Bitcoin. That's the constant. The constant is Bitcoin is the only bear market hedge in crypto. It is the only thing you can rely on so far. Literally the only thing. The only thing that rallies in a bear market. So that's one constant. That's the only constant we actually have in crypto so far. Now, we've actually seen from all the data, when people go risk off now, they don't just get Bitcoin. They get Ethereum. They get stable coins. They get BNB. So they're stacking it towards the top 10. Not all of it, but they're starting to stack different amounts, all right? It is fascinating to see that. But still, that's why, friends, I look at others others BTC ratio, okay? This is all outside top 10 to Bitcoin. And the days have ran the same amount of time. Now, even though BCB has this theory, you know, maybe we run for the next 60 days and that's the top of the cycle. And there are other parts that he's shown, which I'm probably gonna have to give you some weight on that. And it relates to the WankOff. So if we go through, he's got the WankOff pattern, right? So he shows the different distributions of the WankOff. And what he's done, see friends, at the bottom is he has inverted the bottom here to show you like this is Bitcoin today. That's Bitcoin right now. You see that? And this chart pattern is inverted from a bottom. So it looks like you could see the WankOff pattern here. So you see like a spike up. You see like this boring phase, right? You also see this return back up. Yes, same thing. Then now he's coming the next part. This is literally the final part right here. So this is what he thinks might be the next 60 days where Bitcoin maybe spikes up on that September US Fed rate cut, goes sideways, and then it's doom. So we might see something like that and then continue down, all right? So that's what he's thinking of. So it comes from the WankOff pattern. I don't know, friends, a lot of them, man, yes, they can work. I've seen it work before. But personally, this is me. That's why, friends, there's no guarantees in this game. I still want to stick to my guns. And my guns come back down to this, right? The ratio of others BTC. I'm still sticking to my guns because here's the thing. Look, there is no guarantee, man, but it could start to trick us, come up here. We think it's going to flip green and then it comes back down. That can happen. That can happen, right? It's very, very well possible to happen. Remember, these are the fractals in the past. You see the blue and the yellow. That is 2016 and 2020. So you never know, man. Markets, it could always do this, friends. We could go right up here, right? We think we're gonna see that line's gonna be there, the weekly super trend. We could think we're like right ready to flip, and everyone loads up, and then the stock market actually sends us back lower. That is possible. That's a break of the cycle, though. Just to let you know. That's a break of the cycle. We've never done that. Possible, though. Possible. Also, something else could happen. It's possible that, you know those Mt. Gox guys, right? They have the Bitcoin now, and they're holding, maybe. What if they held it, altcoins go up here, but then as stocks crash, the Mt. Gox guys dump Bitcoin more aggressively? Or the recipients. That could actually make this others BTC stay strong. And it would kind of like tell us altcoins are ready to go. We just need the stock market to basically stop being a little bitch. So this is even another wild card scenario I've thrown out to you. It's basically you're using the ratio. That's why, friends, ratio as relative value solves everything. If you're only charting against USD, you are trying to tie your shoe with one eye, and both your hands are behind your back, and you're underwater, and there's a fat lady sitting on your chest. Okay, that's how tough it is. You're only looking at USD ratios. You want to look at things versus each other. For example, if I gave you a time machine and you have to get wealthy, right, from like 1,000 years ago, what would you do? Well, what you start doing is you go, okay, what's your currency? You go, okay, sweet, is your currency? How much does a house cost? And they go, okay, it's like 1,000 seashells. Okay, sweet. How much does a sheep cost? You go, okay, it's 5 seashells. So you'd start trying to figure out the ratios of things between each other. Okay, maybe someone back there, maybe they have like a wooden iPhone. They're like, how much is your wooden iPhone? They're like, oh, it's 1 seashell. You go, interesting. A wooden iPhone for only 1 seashell. You see that, you start to figure out these ratios and you find these mispricings over time. So looking at these others BTC is another form of mispricing. Although, remember, you care about USD price, that's number go up as well. But you'd still also be excited if altcoins are holding up nice as Bitcoin sends them down. So how could altcoins be holding up nice in this scenario when everything's going down? Well, it could be like stocks are down 15%. Bitcoin is down like also 15%. And then maybe altcoins, the average, they're only down like 16%. You know, they're like around what Bitcoin is, or only down 10%. Okay, well, obviously, it's rare scenarios where they happen, but that's one thing I've thrown at you if the cycle wants to try like spook us out. Okay, as you get to see, friends, there is absolutely no way to actually make it unless you fully, totally believe. So that you have to believe, man. That's it. You have to believe. I didn't make it this far, sitting on this squeaky chair with very, very straight posture, wearing Pokemon hats and all the other kinds of hats. I didn't make it this far to just say, well, it could be doom time. I should get out. No. And also, between you and me, just me, you and me, friends, I don't think 60 days from here is enough to onboard enough suckers. You want to know why? How I know that? I still see a lot of people scared to spend money out there in the real world. Inflation's high, interest rates are high, they're getting squeezed from their mortgages, right? They are spending money, but they're not in full degen mode. I don't think 60 days is enough to do it. I think something else is going to be required. What would that something else be? This is just me, your friend Sommi, okay? We could go to zero. We could go to zero, not financial advice. We went to zero, okay. I feel like in my loins and my very pointy knees as well, I feel like to get everybody in, that rate cut from the US Fed isn't enough. That's what I just feel like, once again, qualitative analysis, and I've got a peanut brain, no quality here. Highest value content in crypto, though. I feel like, I look around me, friends, I've sniffed a lot of chairs. I feel like a Donald Trump victory with like a 15% tax cut, new capital gains rate, something that low, with pro-crypto news announcements, with a Bitcoin strategic reserve. I feel like that's enough to trap them. I feel like even speculation about a Dogecoin ETF or other altcoin ETFs next year, the prospects of that, that's what I feel like would trap a lot more people. Because if you can overcome this, right, I think a double thumbs up. Like, for example, we could overcome the stonk market. If you want to have a look at the stonk market, think about this is the stonk market, right, friends? Think about what happens here. Let's put on a weekly chart. What happens if stonks come down and up, they smack down, and they have like this period where they're like holding up sideways, right? And they're still cutting rates. And everyone's like, oh, recession. Wait a minute, it's kind of slowing down. Maybe the data's ticking a bit worse in the background, but I feel like that type of environment and surviving these bad times, it builds people's confidence up to throw it all in, because then they feel indestructible. Because right now, this is just me, okay? If we go back, friends, let's actually go back in time. This is why, like, luckily I got a memory, a very, very strong memory, and I remember what the feelings were like. If we go back to these periods of time, friends, look at this, January, February 2021, look at this. We had done 1, 2, 3, 4 green months in a row. 4. And then the GME stuff came out. And then the Elon Musk Dogecoin started happening. And Elon Musk buys Bitcoin around here. Okay, January. All right. Do you see how we have a lot of green candles, and then everyone's like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling great. And then the news announcements started pumping, and then it made everyone accelerate their confidence even harder, and dog coins and everything. You see that? That's a different phase compared to what we're doing right now. What we're doing right now is, look at this. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It had 7 green monthly candles. Here's the thing then. So we've been stopping since April. April, red, green, red, green. We might even have red one next month. Who knows? Okay. You see how we slowed down? The momentum's killed. And what did I always tell you, right? To onboard the weak hands, friends, it's climbing the wall of worry. So you climb higher and then higher and higher. You think you're going to end it. You think you're going to end it. And you go higher and higher and higher and higher. And then you're up for 4 months in a row. And so those final 2 months, they finally go, that's it. I mean, those final 2 months, how long is that, friends? It's 60 days. Those last 50 to 60 days is the parabola. That is how you get things like this in Dogecoin. Dogecoin, friends, right here. See these final 60 days from the top. Go back. Look at that distance. That's 1 month. See? The final 60 days right here. See that? Bang, 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 bang. A huge, huge amount as well. You want to check it out? Yes, 14x. See, but to get there, you need that confidence boost behind it. I know, yes, we might cut rates. We will cut rates. And yes, economy doom and stuff. We know that. But just looking around, man. Looking around. If you're just looking at Solana meme coins, celebrity meme coins, I understand. You're like, oh, sell everything. Forehead tattoos. But you're looking at the whole market, man. Even if you don't have a real opinion on this subjective stuff, This is not freaking, that's not Euphoria, man. That's not even close to belief or optimism. This is altcoin still getting murdered to Bitcoin. If you're curious, friends, look what it did when GME and everything else came up. This is what it looked like, by the way. It went up, 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 up. By the way, this is when it started moving up. See this? From January, went up for, look how long it moved up for. Went up for 4 months, 133 days, but it was 100 days after it flipped here. So after it flips green, now it's literally game time. This is literally Elon Musk had now bought Bitcoin. Like it's literally game on. And look at that. It goes literally for 100 days. See that? You can actually see it right now. From this point, 100 days. So for us to actually get that in the next 60, I mean, it's still possible, man. We could still do this. We'd literally just go bang and then sweet. But if you continue it out, that's December. That's the December peak. So once again, I love going through different perspectives. We've planned it out now. If altcoins versus Bitcoin want to keep bleeding, sweet, I keep holding. But if they start doing some magical turnaround and we are only here in September, I'm not doing anything. Personally, that's not high enough for me. I didn't wait that long to give up just then, okay? But you can do what you want. I'm wearing a Pokemon Snorlax hat. Don't forget he loves you. Like, subscribe. Catch you in the next one.